folder by just copying this location, and then I'll put that here, bam, and then I'm going to call it reports, let's say on 12.31.24.25. I need to put dots instead of dashes because I have a Microsoft items and they don't like dashes. So we're going to say, okay. And there we have it. So it should be downloaded. It's been downloaded. So there it is. Let's open it up. Take a look at it. So we're going to open it up in Excel. And of course, you need Excel in order to open it in Excel. I already said that. You know what I'm talking about. So there it is. Now notice the formatting is a little bit different than if I opened it up like in a PDF file. So if I open it up in PDF, it looks like this, where it's more centered and so on. Whereas if you look at it in Excel, it looks like this, and it's a little bit different formatting as well if I opened it in the Reports tab, the Management Reports area. They have a little bit different formatting. But if I know Excel, I can do a lot more customization once here. So one way you might do that is I might go to the second view over here, to the page layout view. That allows me to see what page it's on. Back to the first view, that gives me this little dotted line to show where it is. So you can see they orientate it up on the top left because that's where Excel basically populates. So it's not exactly centered. So I could work on basically centering it if I want to as part of my customization. So for example, I might put like a row before this. I'm going to insert. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's Excel formatting. But if I put a row in front of it and a row behind it, and I make these, I held down Control to select this column and this column at the same time to make them the same width. Now I've kind of centered it. Now the other thing it does by default when I export it is it combines these cells. Sometimes I don't like it doing that because it basically mushed all the cells together, and I'd rather center it a different way so I don't have this big cell, but rather have the two cells. But you can change that by going to the Home tab, Alignment, and change it here if you wanted to. Now it's left aligned. If I wanted to, sometimes I would select these two, right-click, and say I want to format the cells, and I would rather center it using this technique, Alignment, and then horizontal center across. So now it's centering across those two cells, but it didn't like mush the two cells together. They're still separate cells, but it's still centered across them. All right, so then also I can do further changes to like text. So maybe I want to make this header customized. Maybe I want to make it like black and white, or for whatever reason. So I can make the header black and white. So that's a little bit different of a format. I can, of course, change the font if I wanted to have some other font. So now I have all the options on the types of fonts and so on that we can use, which again could give you a big differentiation from other reporting that aren't exporting to Excel, although I have to do that every time. I possibly, maybe I want to put like the underlines here instead of having an underline like this. Maybe I want to use this underline. So I replace all these like with this underline. So I have that little underline, and that allows me maybe if I wanted to, and maybe I want a double underline under this one, a double underline under this one. And now I can take this whole thing and put brackets around it, Home tab, font group, and then I could put brackets around the whole thing, so that now you've got that one underline and then the brackets. Maybe I don't need this to be out here so much. Maybe I want to make this a lot smaller. So that I don't have this big cell on this side, so it looks more like that. So there's a lot of stuff that you can clean up. And then sometimes the reports that we generate don't exactly have the exact labeling that we would want, such as this one has bank accounts. Maybe I would rather call it, for external reporting, cash and cash equivalents, which I probably spelled wrong. And then check the spelling on it review, spell check, and then I'll format the cell from here to here. How did they do this? They actually put spaces, 1, 2, 3. That's interesting. 1, 2, 3 spaces, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Looks like 6 spaces, weird. All right, so that's the formatting. So again, you can change things like that, which I can't really change in QuickBooks because it's in there by account type. But for external reporting, that might be a little bit better and more precise of a name. So we can make changes like that. And then if I go to the first tab, and that's just an example. I don't want to go into too much detail, but just a little bit of changes like that could give you a much different look and feel for the report. So here's what it looks like. Now, when I have multiple reports that I put into the same worksheet, I can then print them to the entire workbook, meaning I can print them all at the same time. And instead of using a printer, printing them on paper, I can use this cute PDF printer, which is a type of printer which will just use the printing function to save it as a PDF. If you don't have this, I believe it's free. And I think there's other types of PDF printers. I'm not trying to advertise for one or the other, but I think this is a free PDF printer that you can find and download online if you don't have one, allowing you anytime you have a printing capacity to create a PDF file, even if there's not like a PDF option to create a PDF file, which is nice, handy to have. Now, again, we can do a lot more adjustments to the formatting here, but I don't want to get carried away. I just want to note that you can do more adjustments. You could also add a cover page or something like that by simply adding a page in Excel and typing out a cover page, although then you have to do it in Excel. And you could combine Excel together, linking it to Word. Now, there's more complex ways to do that, but that will allow you the maximal functionality of Word, Microsoft Word, and the connection to the reports that you would like to generate, in Excel. Okay,